Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everybody doing today? Unfortunately, I cannot get my microphone to work on the computer. I am very computer illiterate. Welcome to my show. My name is Jeff. I am the Common Sense Man. I am here to talk to you today and hopefully every day coming on henceforth, we can have a conversation. I don't pretty much trust anything the media on either side says anymore. We've got to a point in time now where common sense I don't think exists like it used to. It used to exist. It did. I have a lot of family and friends, a lot of friends that I used to work with and people that I hung out with. And we used to talk about everything but politics and but religion. My mom told me one time, if you don't want to get in an argument, don't talk religion and politics. That seems to be all we talk about anymore. I will be getting my mic hopefully by Monday. The mic I got didn't work. My camera works fine. There's no microphone. And then the headset that I have, well, that my daughter has because I don't have a computer. I haven't had a computer since 99. Shows you how long it's been for me, even a laptop. I got laptops for my kids, but not for myself. I think we start needing to have a conversation about what's going on. I find it interesting in 2021. I had to find out who she was and feel kind of dumb. It's pretty bad when Nicki Minaj, who I thought was Cardi B, Nicki Minaj came out and didn't say anything about the vaccine necessarily when she was invited to the Met to perform. She basically said she wasn't traveling because she had a kid. She basically said that she was probably going to get the vaccine once she understood a little bit more before she tours. And she made some sort of comment, and then she got attacked by pretty much everybody that's we call the media and stars. And then she defended herself, which was good for her. I'm completely shocked she completely defended herself. She didn't say anything wrong. She just wanted to know more information about it, but she basically said she was not going to get the vaccine to do the Met. She wanted more research, and she was probably going to get the vaccine to do her tour. I hope now that she doesn't. She doesn't fall in the category that absolutely has to have it. A lot of the facts out there right now are the elderly. This virus attacks the elderly. Anyone over the age of 65, 60. Heck, even in my group, people that are obese, I ain't in any good shape. I am not by far in good shape. I had COVID. I had it for 4 days. It kind of kicked the crap out of me. It felt like a bad case of the flu. My son had it. My daughter had it. My wife had it. Fully vaccinated. Both shots over a month. She had it. Got the same symptoms we did. I lost my taste and smell for a while. But I was fine within 5 days. Now, I do know people that got it, and it kicked the crap out of them for a couple of weeks. It really hurt them. It knocked them down. By the sounds of it, you need to be in shape. Get in shape, people. Start exercising more. Stop eating wrong. I mean, I'm here to tell you right now, 95% of the problems in my life are the guy staring back at the mirror and me. Not by somebody else. Nobody else did it. I did it to myself. And I think that's what Nicki Minaj was saying. A little bit of personal responsibility. If you feel that you're going to infect somebody with something, whether it be the flu or a cold. I mean, I remember you got the flu, you missed 1 day of work, then you went back the next day, whether you were dripping nose or sneezing or coughing or sounding like you were hacking up a lung, you went to work. People got the flu. People have been dying for the flu since 1918. It would be amazed at how many people don't realize that about over 20 million people since 1918 in the United States alone have died from the flu. 50 million worldwide in the first year died from the flu. We lose over 600,000 people to heart disease every year. We've lost 600,000 people to COVID or COVID-type symptoms. And that is bad. And I'm not anti-vaccine. I think if you want the vaccine, you should get the vaccine. But if you've been vaccinated, not booster shotted, vaccinated, then you should be safe. If you've got COVID, even the illustrious NIH director and God himself, Dr. Fauci, doesn't have an answer. If you've already had COVID, do you have a better chance of fighting off COVID with the antibodies that you got from it? He doesn't answer that question. We're not pushing therapies anymore, and I don't understand why. There are several therapies out there. Nobody wants to push that. That doesn't make any sense to me. If you have a therapy that works, why isn't it being done? Why isn't people getting more access to those therapies instead of let's just take a vaccine? Okay, let's say right now the estimated is 90% of kids are vaccinated for school. Okay, if we reach 90%, does that mean nobody's going to get COVID anymore? I think COVID's here to stay, unfortunately. I don't think it's going anywhere. We're not going to obliterate it. But if you literally get the smallpox vaccine, or you get a vaccine like that, and you're in around people with it, you won't get it. That's what a vaccine does. And I think what Nicki Minaj was saying is look, this isn't the end-all be-all. This will not get rid of COVID. It's not going to go away based on this. This is a booster, in my opinion, kind of like the flu shot. I remember when the flu shot first came out, it was, did you get vaccinated for the flu? You can't get vaccinated for the flu, or we wouldn't have the flu. It just, and people say, well, there's different variations of the flu. Okay, again, a common sense thing. Stop calling it what it is. You're not going to get rid of the flu. We didn't get rid of a common cold. We have therapies. We have tons of therapies that get from your local drugstore or your Walmart or your Target. You can take over-the-counter drugs. That's what they said. Start getting in shape. Take a ton of vitamin D. That's, my doctor called me and said, look, up your dosage of vitamin D. Just take a ton of it. If you start to get sick or get a fever or something, let us know, and we'll start treating you. I had a little thing you stick on your finger, and my O2 never got below 94 or 95. And we all had it. We all got better. I'm not saying everybody gets better from it. What I am saying is that the likelihood of surviving from it, I mean, there was a poll that was released. Oh, I wish I could crop this stuff. I'll get smarter, people. I'm sorry. I'll get smarter. I will. It's a learning process, but I wanted to start getting it done now. There were Democrats asked, and I don't know, there could be some Republicans, there could be libertarians. They were asked what the death rate was if you got COVID. A majority thought 50% of people will die if they get COVID, and that's just wrong. That's not the science. We're told to follow the science, and the science says that less than 2% of people above the age of 55 will die from COVID. Less than 1 under that age. Kids aren't dying. There's literally a post up that shows that 302 people, I think that's, don't quote me on that, but around 300 people in Chicago, children-wise, under the age, have died of gun violence, while 296 have died of COVID. But yet you want to inoculate kids for something that isn't killing them. And we don't know the long-term effects on it, especially on a child's body that's getting the good and bad flora. I mean, there was a doctor out of Bakersfield when this pandemic first hit, and he took such a beating. But him and his partner got over 20 years, 25 years in microbiology and virology, and they're on the front lines treating patients. Dr. Fauci doesn't treat patients anymore. He just gets the material, he reads it, and then he goes off a synopsis that way. He's not in the field. He's not in the trenches with the doctors. And the problem is that we now aren't allowed to have a dissenting opinion on COVID or a common sense opinion on it. Let me put it that way. Wear a mask. I like to watch reactors on YouTube, rock and roll stuff, and then I recommend Tom McDonald. I'm not a hip hop guy. Haven't been a hip hop guy since the late '80s, early '90s. I kind of got out of that scene, but I like his songs because his songs are he doesn't Doesn't talk about doing drugs and getting drunk and all that other stuff. But I like to watch him, and I watched a reaction, a couple, and one of them said that if you were just save one life if you get the shot, what if you're not saving your own in the long run? Especially if you're not in the target group, which is the elderly, which I don't have a problem with that. And even if you're young and you're in your 20s in great physical shape and you want to get it, that's your choice. But I don't think it should be forced on people in a healthy age group. I just don't. I think that really needs to be their decision. We're telling 12-year-olds now that they have to get that vaccine. That doesn't make any sense. They're not the majority that are getting it and dying from it. And we're not saying, okay, so grandma gets the vaccine, and the kid comes in and he's carrying it, and then now grandma has COVID. It's not a vaccine then. See what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. The CDC literally changed the definition of vaccine on their website last week. If you were to look it up now, it says something different than it said before. A vaccine was supposed to inoculate you and keep you immune from it. Now it doesn't say that anymore. Again, the common sense would tell you they're changing the wording because they're changing the virus to make it sound more ridiculous. Again, 1918, Spanish flu killed 650,000 Americans in the first year. We didn't even have penicillin then. Penicillin didn't come out till 1924. And we fought through it. The healthy people went to work. The sick people stayed home. That's what they did. If you got sick when you went to work, then you went home. But we're not doing that anymore. We're grounding the healthy people along with the sick people. And that's a huge thing. And I think the hypocrisy that's come out is just, literally you have a congresswoman wearing a tax the rich dress at a $35,000 ticket. Yes, she got it donated to her. Well, so she got a ticket donated to her. So that's not odd to somebody. And then all of them in there, except the help, were not wearing a mask. Doesn't that look like a bad scene from the Hunger Games? Honestly, I've seen the Hunger Games. It's a pretty good movie. They're sitting, it's good for thee, not for me. That's the world we're living in now. And when we're being told by the media, particularly 93% of it, that you have to do it, I don't. The mayor of San Francisco, who's got some of the harshest ones on there, was just caught on camera partying. And I don't care if she parties. Really, I don't. That's what I want people to do. But she's going to point her finger at you and tell you you can't. See what I mean? So that's what I want to double back to now. So Nicki Minaj, who I found out she has 22 million followers, that scared the crap out of the media, scared the crap out of politicians that want to take control of your life. This has nothing to do about a virus anymore. If you think that, then you don't have any common sense. It's about control, what they can and cannot tell you. There's certain steps that I believe, they want to be able to do to see if you accept it. After 9/11, I jumped all in on the war. I was rah-rah. I know I have friends of mine. I have a buddy of mine that we used to get in arguments about, that I lived with for a little while. We would go back and forth, and I was all rah-rah. Bush, right, go to war, kill the terrorists, that type of stuff. We shouldn't have went to war. Honestly. We were lied to. Under the Bush administration. I have no problem saying that now. We were. Just like now. We're being lied to. Except this time, I'm able to say, without a doubt, that that's what's happening. The older you get, the younger you get, the younger you are, you tend to believe things because we're being told so much in school now. And really, my parents and we were involved somewhat in our kids' lives in school. Should have been more. Again, 98% of the problems that we do with stuff is the person looking back at us in the mirror. And we made those mistakes. We could have done better. We could have. I have a lot of friends, and I have some family that have done great, got their kids through college and set them up. That's another topic for another time. But again, when you see what they tell you and then what they do, I mean, how does that square with anyone? It can't. You have to understand that if somebody says, don't run on the train tracks, and then they run on the train tracks, what does that tell you? It's just like telling your kids when they're 10, 11 years old, don't curse. But what do? You curse all day long in front of them. I did that when I was younger, and my kids were younger. Okay? So what do you expect them to do? We live now in a world where, unfortunately, the people that live in the ivory towers that will never have to hobnob with common people, and that's where we've come down to now. It's the common person. They say they're for you. Oh God, yeah, they want to cut your tax. They want to raise the taxes on the rich. Well, that in essence is going to come to get you in the long run. Again, another topic for another time. But everything that they're doing is not showing you that that's the right thing to do, because they don't like wearing the mask. The masks come off as soon as the cameras go off, and they've been caught doing it. Look at the Emmys. Everyone was in there. There was only one honest person, and that was that Seth Rogen guy who came out and said, oh, we're too cramped and we're this and that. And then he made a joke about somebody sneezing on him. Again, if he was that serious about the problem, he would have went outside, talked to the news, and said, I'm not going in there because this is too dangerous. No, he took time to go out there and say hi to all his buddies and all his pals and all his friends, just like the rest of them do, because they want to assimilate into that crowd, and they don't want to alienate anyone. And that's why I think this all comes back to Nicki Minaj taking a chance. I mean, she's seriously taking a chance of destroying some of her fan base, because she's actually said something and now she's fighting for it. And honestly, it's amazing that she's still fighting, because most of the time, I mean, I've seen people, stars that say something. I mean, Drew Brees got beat up so bad for saying he would never kneel for the national anthem, and then he capitulated. There's nothing wrong with saying you won't kneel for the national anthem. Again, that's your choice, as Joe Biden would whisper to you. That's your choice. You can do that. You want to kneel at the national anthem, I'm not going to watch you. My choice not to watch you. But you can kneel. That's what's great about this country. Nicki Minaj is allowed to have her opinion about this. And to be destroyed within seconds of after saying it by the media? Again, we live in a time now where it's 24/7 media. It really is. I mean, I remember when Fox News first launched and CNN, a lot of the news stations, I was young, wasn't as young, but excuse me. I remember when it launched and I thought, wow, we're getting blitzed by media. Now with social media and smartphones like I'm talking into now, it's just amazing at how we're saturated. A 24-hour news cycle can go from the death or Afghanistan and the terrible debacle that happened to the border crisis and tens of thousands of people coming in from the Mexican border, and it sounds like mostly Haitians that are coming across the border. And it's like we're inundated with so much information that it's hard to process. And I think a lot of politicians especially see that and take advantage of it, because in a 48-hour time, we forget. We live in a world now where it's immediate satisfaction. There is no more sourcing your information when you do a news story. Um, anonymous source. It's always anonymous sources now, and you can't trust an anonymous source. You can't. And news used to be about sourcing their information and finding out for sure. Now, they didn't put those sources out on TV so you would know, but they know exactly who they are, and they were confident in what they did. Um, and 100% being forward, just about the vaccine, I wouldn't have took it. Even under Donald Trump, I wouldn't have took it. And I liked him as president, but I wouldn't have took it. I didn't fall in the bracket that was needed, and I wouldn't have took it. I still don't think if you don't want to take that, you shouldn't be forced to take it. And we have now become, instead of almost like it's not left, right, or white minority, it's vaccinated, unvaccinated. It's ridiculous to me because, again, by definition, vaccine means you can't get it. And now they're saying, oh, well, you can get breakthrough cases, the Delta variant. Okay. Now they have the Wu variant that's coming out. How many more variants are we going to have before we start to realize it's probably better, especially the younger generation, if they get it and they build up their natural immunity to fight it off? I don't know. It's unfortunate that's where we are right now. We can't have a conversation with one another. Excuse me. We can't sit at a table and have different political beliefs and be in the same room. I mean, I knew a time when I didn't know anybody that I worked with political beliefs. If people know me, man, I was a sports nut. Football, baseball, basketball. I knew stats. I knew the players. I knew who was drafting. We used to talk about it a lot at work. I was a sports, my ringer was, when I would call my wife, it was ESPN's little da-da-da-da-da-da thing. That's when I would call her. That's what would come up because I just lived, eating, drank sports. I enjoyed hanging out with friends, and it was so rare to talk about politics and talk about even religion. Now it's nonstop. And unfortunately, that's where we are because it's taking over our fabric. And in this vaccinated, unvaccinated world, we are really, really seriously going to have to ask ourselves a question. Can I like someone even if they have a different political belief? I can. I don't have a problem with that. But someone to protest in front of my house because I have a different opinion, someone to assault me, not just verbally assault me, but start beating me up because they literally do not like my opinion. It's not where this country should be. And I think me and anybody that watches me, if you disagree or you agree with me, I think that's what we've got to. And I think we need to start having an open conversation of how to get back to the... Look, I don't want everybody to believe the same thing that I believe. God, no, I don't. But I also don't want to be so scrutinized and chastised for the way that I believe when I'm not forcing you to believe that. I'm not. And I think most of the people that I know, the majority of people that I know, aren't forcing that upon anybody. They believe a certain way. If you believe that way, great. Live your life the way you want to, in your house, behind your doors, however you want to do it. But that doesn't mean I have to be forced to believe that. And it doesn't have to mean that I'm forced to raise my kids that way or my grandkids that way. So I rambled a little bit longer than I wanted to. This is just my first video. Again, I apologize. The mic is supposed to be here the 27th. I will try to release a new video every day try to keep you kind of up to date. I went with the Nicki Minaj thing. I had a few more things I wanted to go. I get off topic a lot. I call it having a squirrel moment. I tried to stay on topic today. I hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'm also on Rumble under my name, Jeff Wiley. I'll post it on Facebook. I'll post links below. I hope you guys have a great day, and maybe now we can start having conversations. I know a lot of people that agree with me are going to have those conversations. I want people that disagree with me to have that conversation. You guys take care. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.